Good morning, Year 11. So let's go through today's revision on angles. So first angle fact we're going to look at are angles on a straight line. So angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. Although this is one continuous long line here, it is separated into two angles on a straight line adding up to 180 about this point here and this point here. So we'd work these two out separately. So angle X and 60 degrees, these two both add up to 180. In your exam, you can always try and separate the diagrams out using a ruler. Calculate this one separately to this one. So this angle here is 60. To get angle X, we're going to do 180 minus 60, which gets us 120 degrees. I would do my workings around the diagram, put in my answer, and make sure you always give a reason. Angles on a straight line add to 180 degrees. This one here, you're going to do 180 minus 140. So that gets you 40 degrees. So angle Y is 40 degrees because they add to 180. Okay, diagram number 2. When you have two lines that intersect like this, the opposite angles are equal. So Y is 110 degrees. And the reason is because vertically opposite angles are equal. You have to write all of that in your exam. Vertically opposite angles are equal. You then have some straight lines. If I use the ruler to remove Z and Y for a moment, you can see this straight line here. So we have two angles here, X and 110. That create a straight line. So I know those add up to 180. So 180 minus 110 leaves me with 70 degrees. So I know angle X is 70 degrees and vertically opposite angles are equal. So Z must also be 70 degrees. And I used angles on a straight line add to 180 degrees. Now you could have used the fact that you have a 360 degree angle there. So you could have used angles around a point add up to 360, and you could have taken off the 220, which is the sum of those two angles, and then split that in half. That is another way to do that question. Okay, question 3. Here you have two parallel lines. We should really put those arrows on those lines. So you have two parallel lines. 120 degrees is in exactly the same position on the other parallel line here. Those two there are what we call corresponding angles. They're in the exact same position, just one is on the top parallel line and the other one is on the bottom. So A is 120 degrees because corresponding angles are equal. You must write are equal as part of your answers. So looking at this one, again we have two parallel lines. This time when we run across this parallel line, run down our intersecting line and then continue across this parallel line, it creates a Z shape. Although a backwards one, it is still a Z shape. And whenever you have angles created from a Z shape, they are called alternate angles, and alternate angles are equal. So B is 115 degrees. And the reason is alternate angles are equal. Look out for the Z shapes. For the corresponding angles, we say look out for the F shapes. So we create an F. The angles created from those two lines in the F are equal. And Fs can go in a variety of ways. Backwards Fs and forwards Fs. You also have, if you extend the F a little bit higher, the two angles at the top there, and the same is true if it looks this way. For the F angles, the angle has to be in the same position just on the other parallel line, and they're corresponding angles. Okay, angles in polygons. So the general formula that we need to remember, I'm going to write it down here. So this is for the interior angle sum of a polygon. So that's what the angles add up to in any 2D shape is the number of sides minus 2 times 180 degrees. And you need to remember that formula off by heart for your exam. So it's the number of sides, take off 2 times 180 degrees. And that tells you what the angles add up to. So we have a look at this polygon here. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 angles. So it must also have 5 sides. So to work out what the angles first of all add up to, we're going to do the fact that it's a 5-sided shape, take away 2, and we're going to times that by 180. 3 times 180 gets us 540. So we know the angles add up to 540. If we now add up the angles that we've been given, we can then work out what's missing from 540. So it's going to go round, add them all up. So those angles add up to 405. So we're now going to do 540 minus 405, and that's going to get us 135 degrees. So for any polygon, to work out what the angles add up to, number of sides, take off 2 and times that by 180. Then sum the angles you've been given and subtract that from the interior angle sum. So maybe you've got a polygon and you're told an exterior angle and you need to work out how many sides it has. So here's another rule we need. If you divide 360 degrees by one exterior angle, that will tell you the number of sides it has. So 360 divided by one exterior angle will tell you the number of sides. It also works the other way round. So to work out one exterior angle, if you do the number of sides, if you do 360 and divide that by the number of sides, that will tell you what one exterior angle is. So for this one here, we know one exterior angle is 30 degrees. So we do 360 and divide that by one exterior angle. That's going to tell us that this must be a 12-sided shape. I'd probably actually write that the other way around. I'm not too happy with that. Just going to rewrite it, guys, sorry. So the number of sides, n for number of sides, equals 360 divided by one exterior angle. I'd rather put n first. So n, the number of sides, equals 360 divided by what one exterior angle is, and that's for a regular polygon. For this one here, we have a parallelogram, and we need to find the angle X. Now, what we know about parallelogram is that the opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal. So we can go ahead and equal these two angles to each other, and we can solve it like we would solve any normal equation. Minus the smallest number of x's from both sides. So it's going to be minusing 5x's. And then take off 10 from both sides. And then divide both sides by 2. So x equals 50. Okay, for a question like this, you need to work out the interior angles, and then you can work out x by taking away the two interior angles from 360. So first of all, let's work out how many sides it has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a 6-sided shape. So I need to do 6 minus 2 and times that by 180. And that will tell me how many what the interior angles add up to. So that gets me 720 degrees. I now need to equally split that between the 6 sides. So I'm going to divide that by my 6 sides. And that means that one interior angle is 120. Let's do the same for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's an 8-sided shape. So we're going to do the same now and do 8 minus 2 times by 180. And that's going to get us 1080. This shape has 8 sides. So if we now divide that by 8, that tells us that one interior angle is 135 degrees. We can now add those two together and take that away from 360. So we're going to add those two together, which gets us 255, and then we're going to take that away from 360, and that's going to get us 105 degrees. So that's what X there is. Okay, I've run out of space for this one, but what I do know is I've got a pentagon, which I had over here. So that was 540 degrees. We're going to divide that by the 5 equal sides, which gets us 108. So I'm going to squeeze this one at the top. We've got a hexagon, which we had here. So we know that's going to be 120. So we're going to add those two together, and that's going to get us 228. And then we're just going to take that away from 360 because they make a full turn. I'm just squeezing it on here. And that gets us 132 degrees. So just to recap, the number of sides, take away 2 times 180 and then divide that by how many sides there is. That gets you one interior angle. Do that for both of the shapes. All three make a full turn. So then add them together and take it away from 360. Okay, a regular polygon has 18 sides. Calculate the size of one interior angle. Now this one's quite tricky. For this one, you need to remember that interior and exterior angles add to 180. So if I draw a little diagram and it's saying it has 18 sides. So I need to use my formula over here to work out what one exterior angle is. So to work out one exterior angle, I need to do 360 and divide that by 18, and that's going to get me 20. So that means one exterior angle equals 20. The exterior added to the interior makes 180 degrees. So 180 minus 20 gets us 160 degrees. Why do regular hexagons tessellate? Well, let's have a look at the interior angles. So if you've got a hexagon, which is going to look something a bit like this, we can work out one interior angle. It's a six-sided shape, so 6 minus 2, which equals 4, times 180 gives us 720 degrees. And then if we divide 720 by 6, that means one angle is 160. In order for them to tessellate, we're going to need lots of different hexagons together. So this one's 120, and this one must be 120. So what we need to work out is how many of these do we need to make one full turn. So 360 divided by 123. So 3 hexagons together will fit without any gaps. So because 120 is a factor of 360, or because 360 is a multiple of 120, they must therefore tessellate. So have a go at the other questions on the other side. Press play, pause, and then play when you're ready. Okay, so question number 1, x is 53 because vertical opposite angles are equal, y is 53, alternate angles are equal. Number 2, another letter, which is 110. I put F. You could have had B. You could have also had D. I chose F. Corresponding angles are equal. X is 148, and I use co-interior angles are not equal. Add to 180. So co-interior angles add to 180 degrees. So we had to work out I worked out this angle here, co-interior angles add to 180 degrees. So 180 minus 128 is 52. They add to 180. Opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal, so this is 52. You have a straight line, so that's 128. You then have a triangle, so that must be 13. (157), 127, 72. I don't think I'll finish this one off actually. Let's quickly get this one finished off. So 101 plus 154 plus 72 plus 123 plus 145, and then take that away from 720, so I've got 125 degrees for that one. They add up to 540, divide it by 5, gets you one angle of 108. 9 angles, 9 sides, 9 minus 2 is 7, 7 times 180, split that between the 9 angles, 140. The exterior angle, 360, divided by the fact it has 5 angles, or 5 sides, 72. 360 divided by the 9 sides is 40 degrees. How many sides? Well, you had to work out the exterior by doing 144 from 180, which is 36. 360 divided by 36 is a 10-sided shape. Same with this one, 180 minus 177, which is 3. 360 divided by 3 is 120. On to the bottom ones. They were both 108. Sum them, you get 216. Subtract from 360, 144. This was 108. Added to 135 is 243. Subtract that from 360, and we get 117 degrees. Well done for those. I will set you guys some questions on MathsWatch. Have a good day. Thank you very much.